So you want to know if the Four Naturals treatment is for you. It is for you. If you want a treatment that gives you progressive results, meaning your hair gets better every time you use it. If you want manageability, if you want better scalp health, if you want hair versatility, if you have chemically treated hair or color treated hair, if you struggle with heat damage, the kind that requires a big chop, if you have different hair pattern, a different hair type, if you're struggling with alopecia and you want to make the hair that's attached better, or if you have a beard, the Four Naturals treatment is for you. The Four Naturals treatment is not for you if you have dreadlocks or if you're a natural blonde. Why? Because what makes the Four Naturals treatment amazing for people with type 4 hair makes it a disaster for people with dreadlocks. Your hair becomes heavier with the Four Naturals treatment. Plus, there are things like coffee grounds and henna stems, and it makes it really difficult to get it out of dreadlocks. But if you are transitioning out of your dreadlocks, the Four Naturals treatment is for you because it's going to make your manageability and your routines so much easier. And if you're a natural blonde, you probably don't want to use the henna mud mask, but you definitely want to use the cassia deep conditioner. And so now that we've got that out of the way, let's go in a little deeper. So, this is what we mean by progressive results. So, each of these panels were taken within the same month. So both of these women started with hair that was completely different from the how they ended that month with their hair. So starting at the top, she struggled with the typical type 4 hair problems. 65% of us struggle with 4 or more hair problems: dryness, slow growth, lack of definition, and issues with detangling. She had all of those. And so for her, this treatment made her hair so much manageable in just the first treatment. So by the end of her month, her head of hair looked completely different. But that was just the cumulative or progressive effects of the treatment. The person at the bottom, she had carpal tunnel syndrome. So caring for her hair in a straighter state was much better. It was easier on her body. Does that sound familiar, those of you with relaxers and Texlacs? But the problem is the brittleness, the dryness, the breakage that comes with constantly thermally straightening your hair. Well, after one Four Naturals treatment, her curl pattern was revealed, and treatment over treatment, her hair got better. Her hair got stronger. It got softer. Her curls got better, like more defined. And just the thickness of the hair overall is a result of the cumulative aspect of henna. Every henna treatment builds on the last, but it's not the buildup you're used to. It's the buildup of nature. So, how does this treatment work? These are plants: henna, cassia bovata, slippery elm. These plants are lifesavers. They are a gift from God to solve all of our hair problems. And so, the henna, the cassia, the slippery elm, they work to restructure your hair strand and change how your hair behaves when it encounters water, when it encounters heat. Pre-treatment, your hair is set on fro. Post-treatment, your hair is set on curl.
35 minutes to completely cleanse and detangle my hair, which is unheard of for your girl. I can actually do other things tonight. It's not all dedicated to washing my hair, which is crazy. And the best part, I'm going to retain all of the growth that I've been getting because check out the shedding. This is my shedding from my wash day, y'all. If you have 4 type hair, you know this is like the shedding we get. What? See, it's gone because it's nothing. That's like the
So it improves your manageability. If you have type 4 hair, you know your wash days are 16 years long, okay? Because you have to do your hair ritual of a treatment, your Tresemme shea butter, shea moisture, mayonnaise, avocado thing. And you believe that the longer you leave it on your hair, the more slick, the more moisturized it'll be. But then when you rinse it out, you're back at square one. But you don't have time to fret because you have to get ready for work because your hair still isn't done. And then you have to do the process of whatever the hair styling is. So your wash days are really, really long and not manageable. When you add the Four Naturals treatment to your hair care regimen, you basically split those two aspects, the treatment and the styling, you split them into completely different days. So when you treat your hair, you are doing hair health. When you sit with the henna mud mask and the cassia deep conditioner, when you rinse it out, the henna and the cassia remain in the hair, so that when you have a wash day, it's not a day, it's an hour. All you need to do is cleanse your hair, and when you detangle your hair, you detangle into curls. So it dramatically cuts down the amount of time that you spend overall managing your hair. And so here's another example of that manageability. For this young lady, she has to wear her hair in a ponytail, a low pony, for her job. But because her type 4 hair is thick and highly dense, it takes her over an hour to put her hair into a ponytail, because she's chasing shrinkage, she's chasing dryness. And so by the end of her ponytail, she felt like she had a workout. So often she would choose to slap on a wig and put the wig hair into a ponytail, because it's easier for her to manage. And also going to the gym. If you go to the gym with your gym wig and it's a completely different texture than your type 4 hair, the sweat will cause your type 4 hair to revert, and it could pop out, make an appearance. And so post treatment, she has a completely different experience. Sweat in her hair, she just has curls. When she goes to put her hair in a ponytail, she just sprays it down with water, pulls it back into a ponytail. It's that simple. And so the Four Naturals treatment aims to simplify your life. This young lady is also our hero shot, because her hair is so great. And so, if you're struggling with those scalp issues, here's an email from a recent curl friend who struggled with scalp inflammation. And so, when she made her purchase, I wasn't aware that she was struggling with her scalp, and that she was using diets and all these things to deal with the inflammation. But I was so glad that she emailed us to let me know that, hey, that Four Naturals mud mask, it cools down the scalp and it brought down my inflammation. And that's because the henna is antimicrobial and antibacterial. So it helps get rid of those microbes that cause the scalp to get irritated, to get inflamed. It also contains fenugreek and coffee, and those are also amazing for the scalp. But there's also peppermint oil and aloe vera. And so the henna mud mask is concentrated with all of the good things that improve our hair's health. So it improves the way that our hair looks, the way that it behaves, and the way that it processes. And so you get true hair versatility. This is me back in 2019. The curly photo is after my third Four Naturals treatment. This is before I even turned this into a business. And it wasn't right after the third treatment, it was a week after the third treatment. And then I did something that I could never do with my high porosity type 4 hair, which was get it flat iron, because I struggled with heat damage. Well, after the Four Naturals treatment, I don't have to worry about the heat damage that would cause me to get a big chop. Now I have true hair versatility. And so let's talk about that heat damage. So, as you know, when your hair is heat damaged, the ends are the last thing to come back. No matter what you do, no matter how much cream, those ends stay straight, and the diameter of the strand even is thinner. But as you can see with this young lady who was using thermal styling for years, after her Four Naturals treatment, her curls revived. And that shrinkage that you resent when your hair is not heat damaged, but you want it when your hair is heat damaged, the Four Naturals treatment gives it to you. Best of all, she didn't have to stop flat ironing her hair between treatments. She just got to live her life, but adding this treatment to her hair care regimen gave her way more flexibility, way more options in her life. And so, hair color. This is an area where most people raise their red flag and they go, hey, I heard that henna is bad for hair color. Let me go deeper into that. What the cosmetology board says in the one paragraph that addresses henna, they say that there are hennas that contain chemical and metallic salts. Those chemical and metallic salts have a chemical reaction to hair color, which will cause the hair to smoke up and potentially catch on fire. And because you cannot tell which henna your client used, always strand test, but avoid coloring over henna. Well, not all hennas contain chemical and metallic salts. The henna in the Four Naturals mud mask is just henna lawsonia, the plant, dried, pulverized into a powder, and added to the mix. And so there's no chemical reaction with color because there's no chemical in the Four Naturals treatment. And so you get to see this in Amore. She's a licensed cosmetologist, but pre-treatment, she was on the cycle of the big chop. But her big chop cycle looked like this. She would color her hair. Her hair would grow. She would color it. It would deteriorate. She would chop it. Her hair would grow out. She would color it. It would deteriorate. She would chop it. But post Four Naturals treatment, her hair just continued to thrive. And as you can see, she's not a type 4, she's a type 3. And it just keeps getting better. And she can pull hair stunts like thermal styling her color treated hair. So this treatment truly does set you free. If you want to go on a color journey and a growth journey, you can do it with the Four Naturals treatment. And so here is an example of a strand test done on Four Naturals treated hair. She's been treating her hair with Four Naturals for 3 years and she was postpartum. But as you can see, there's an even lift from root to the end. Why? Because the hair is evenly coated. And it's not evenly coated with chemical and metallic salts, right? Because that's what they're afraid of. Your licensed cosmetologist is afraid that your hair is going to process unevenly. But fear not with Four Naturals. And then lastly, in the color section is how deep? How deep does the color get? Well, as you can see, this is a first treatment result. And pre-treatment, her dyed hair got like brassy, got super bright, not the best, right? But then post-treatment, her tone was brought down, right? So the henna filled in those deeper, richer tones. But that's as transformative of color that she's going to get, right? She's not going to get to a black using the Four Naturals treatment. It's just not going to happen. If anything, it's just going to give you a richer tone. And so if you have chemically treated hair, you know why you chemically treated your hair. You didn't chemically treat it so that you could, you had to thermal style it and curl it and do all this stuff to it every day, right? You did it because you thought your hair was going to look like the girl on the box, right? It's going to be like that loose, wet, and wavy. And if you got to relax, then, it'll be easier to manage. But when you have chemically treated hair, you know that your hair it's a whole other thing. And so this young lady was using rods and color, just anything to do her hair, to style her hair. And then post treatment, she just got to rock it as it grows because the henna finds whatever wave is in that strand and it makes it come out. And so she gets to enjoy the defrizzing, the richer color, the appearance of it looking healthier and the thickness and the curl pattern, all because she did a Four Naturals treatment. And so, while the Four Naturals treatment is life changing if you have type 4 hair, well, it can also be life changing if you have type 3, type 2, or type 1, because just because you don't have type 4 hair doesn't mean that you don't struggle with hair health problems. You might have frizzy hair or hair that doesn't have the best definition when you're type 3. But after Four Naturals treatment, you got it. The Four Naturals treatment also reveals what your true curl pattern is. Your race does not determine your curl pattern. So just because you are black doesn't mean that you have a type 4 curl pattern. Like this girlfriend learned. She learned that she was actually a type 2, and now she has manageable type 2 hair. And then type 1, as you can see, with all of our post treatment photos, everyone's hair is shinier. And so if you have type 1 hair and it's limp and it's dull, you can get shiny, thick, longer hair with the Four Naturals treatment because these plants are made for hair, period. Not just for type 4 hair, not just for type 1 hair, because henna comes from India, right? It just works for hair. It just makes hair better. And so alopecia. So for those of you struggling with any kind of hair loss, you know that having type 4 hair adds insult to injury because it just shows all your business, right? And so for this young lady, she was in a growth cycle, but she still had patches that were missing. So it was nice after her first treatment that her hair was able to camouflage those pieces that were missing. So she wasn't dependent solely on wigs. She could wear her hair and she could do fun things with the scalp, but it's not like she's dealing with this fro that she's trying to pull down every day. She's just enjoying the curls that she was able to grow and are still attached to her head, right? And so, if you have a beard, what you can't see is what you can't feel, right? And so, for this guy, what he felt was how much softer his beard was, right? And then how much fuller it appeared. And then, treatment over treatment, his little tough spots became softer. And now, I don't have a recent photo of him, but now his beard is just so abundant. So, the Four Naturals treatment is truly a Swiss Army knife solution for every single one of your hair health problems. I hope this video shed a lot more light on whether or not the Four Naturals treatment is for you. And 9 times out of 10, it is. So, join us over at the store and start your treatment journey today.